Welcome to the Genesis Expo. My name is Felipe Oliveira, Head of Sales and Marketing, and I am delighted you can join me on our monthly showcase of our low-code application platform. The show is a mixture of live interviews, discussions and Q&A, alongside film presentations and demos. I am live and direct from Genesis HQ, and I'm joined for our audience Q&A sessions live from Miami by Stephen Murphy, our CEO and co-founder, and in London by our special guest, Jean-Maurice Alcoby from ING. Hello, guys. Please submit any questions in the dialog box. So let's get going. Genesis Expo, take it away, folks. Good evening, Asia Pacific. Good afternoon, Europe. And good morning, America. Welcome to the Genesis Expo, our monthly showcase on our low-code application platform. I'm Felipe Oliveira, Head of Sales and Marketing. Join me live from London each month as we share with you how the Genesis Lcap is transforming financial markets IT delivery. I'm delighted to be joined on July 29th by my special guest, Matthew Rees-Evans, Loan Markets Innovation Lead from ING, discussing how ING are replacing end-user computing with low-code innovation. We open our show with an update from CEO and co-founder Stephen Murphy on the exciting developments at Genesis, and an update from across the market. Our colleague Ray Chi, Head of Solutions Delivery, gives an update on the Genesis Lcap platform and how we are reducing IT development times by 80%. And we close the session with Darren Newby, our Solutions Director, with a demo and showcase of our credit insurance application and a live audience Q&A. And now I'd like to turn over to our CEO, Stephen Murphy, to give us an update.
Thanks, Felipe. And thank you everyone for being here today at our first event in our low-code Expo. It's something we're very excited about, and it's something which is going to really change the way the financial markets industry works and the views and thoughts around low-code. So I wanted to give a company update. Firstly, as some of you guys know, we have our offices in London and in New York. And this year, actually, we've already opened our offices in both Sao Paulo, in Brazil, and in Miami. It's really exciting for us because we've got, firstly, we see a lot of growth in Latin America, hence having a Sao Paulo office. And the Sao Paulo office is not just business development, it's actually a development team there. We already had a development team there over the last 3 years, but we're actually going to be growing more and more that development team. And we see lots of opportunities around business development in Brazil as well, and Latin America. Some of the interesting stuff that you guys may have seen in the press already, we've made some really new strategic hires, and there's more in the pipeline actually, which will become more public over the next 3 months. Most recently, we hired Nick Cober. So Nick's joining us from where he does a lot of stuff actually within Finos. Some people, you may know him from his leadership in the Finos community and what he does around FDC3, which is again really good for us as well when we think about low-code application platform, open source technologies. He's actually leading our platform tooling strategy and web framework engineering, so really good for us, and it's great for, again, the continued investment into low-code application platform. And another big update from our side is what you're going to hear more and more about is more of the marketing and the positioning both of the Genesis low-code application platform and low-code, again, more for our industry, things which are really important in financial markets. And that could be everything from resilience, scalability, performance, all the way through to things which are specific about our industry. It could be fixed messaging, it could be FPML, it could be certain vendor technologies, certain integrations which are important in our world. And again, there's lots of different vendor technologies to integrate to, as well as different types of technologies. So really important update from our side. In the Expo event today, you're going to hear from ING. This has been really interesting for us. ING come to partner with us to build a new credit insurance application, CIA. And what that does is it really targets a part of the CPRI, part of the syndicated loan industry. Thing which was before was really just spreadsheets, telephone calls, messengers, and really put that into a complete electronic platform. So automating workflows, document management, analytics, and then really basically reduce operational cost and risk, improve efficiency. So we've learned a lot from that. It's been great. ING's been a great partner with us in that. So it's something we're really excited about as well. And it's really truly innovative. It's really one of the new things I would say that we've seen, which has really allowed us to change and innovate a market. What you're also going to see somewhat linked to that is you're going to see that we're actually doing more and more in the loan space, all the way from loan origination all the way through to settlement and clearing. So both CLO and loan trading is an area for us we've learned a lot, and we've got some exciting developments which you're going to hear about in the next few months as well. And finally, really, there's a number of themes that we see the platform being used. But in 2020, we've seen 3 very specific themes which we're going to focus on over the course of this Low Code Expo. For today's event, the first theme is around end user computing, EUC. Also, some firms use the name or the acronym UDT, User Developed Technologies. And we see that as a really big theme of how the platform's used to deal with compliance issues, could deal with spreadsheets which are being manually maintained and there's no auditability of, all the way through to spreadsheets which do not perform, do not scale as that business grows, and that reliance on that data and on the workflow that happens around that. Really exciting. You're going to hear both ourselves and ING talk about that as well. Big second theme you'll hear more about in the next few months is legacy integration, whether or not it's vendor technologies, whether or not it's in-house technologies. Really, we're seeing ourselves being used as a way to really provide a glue, a mesh across these different technologies, bring it into one place, and then provide workflows extremely quickly, provide analytics, again, extremely quickly, and all the way throughout to UI distribution, being able to distribute that data in, again, a very highly permissioned, highly audited, secure way onto people's, it could be a user's web desktop, all the way through to a mobile or tablet application. Again, really, that's a second theme, really big use case for us. And the third big use case is really new trading systems. And it really could be any new digital platform of some kind, like CIA with ING, all the way through to you're going to see things which are both consortiums. We've seen a number of firms come to us actually as a consortium, wanting to build a new technology, but do it as market participants. Really, really good. And we also see new firms really looking at a new way as the market's evolving, and that market itself is getting more electronic. They themselves need more robust, more scalable and electronic workflows and tools to be able to work within that market. So really 3 big themes: end user computing, legacy integration, and really new trading platforms, new digital workflow platforms. On that note, as I mentioned before, thank you for coming. We're really excited to be able to share what we see happening within the industry, how we're evolving the industry, and how low-code application platform and low code is really truly applicable to financial markets. So thank you again, and enjoy the event.
And now it's time for a Q&A.
Hi, my name is Raichi, and I'm Head of Solutions Delivery at Genesis Global Technology. I'd like to take a couple of minutes today to take you through what is an Lcap, what is the Genesis Lcap, and why is it a bit different to other Lcaps, and some of the situations and problems that it's been very useful in solving. What is an Lcap? It's all in the name. LCAP stands for Low Code Application Platform. Low code means, it's pretty self-explanatory, it means you can deliver solutions as you need them without typing in a whole bunch of code. So having less code means you can deliver faster, it means there's less bugs, so you have less issues, and delivering faster usually means less costs. Application platform really is the set of services and components that come together to enable that by providing a lot of the capabilities that you need for a system straight out of the box. They're enterprise ready and they're proven. So what does an Lcap contain? Lcap, there are a range of Lcaps out there, and Genesis is one of them, and they tend to have a number of common attributes or groupings of capabilities. You tend to have some development tools to support the dev process that is required. I mean, there's still some coding. So having optimized dev tools accelerates the development process. They offer functional components that are reusable, so specific components that do things that support the business process that you're trying to implement. As many of those get repeated and are common. You have non-functional components, so all systems have some needs like resilience, robustness, failover, scalability, security, and those things, again, you can't get away from them, but they come out of the box with an Lcap. And then you have a whole range of tools to support the delivery, the project lifecycle, the delivery lifecycle, from requirements and planning, the integrated development environment, managing the code, managing the builds, managing the deployments, managing the environments, all the way through to operating the system live, and managing the process post-live and as it goes into the future. So all of those capabilities together comprise a low-code application platform. What does the trajectory of Lcap look like? A recent statement from Gartner predicted that by 2024, 65% of application development of all app dev across all sectors will be done via low-code application platforms, which is a massive thing. The leadership team, both of the founders of Genesis, and many of our colleagues in the company all come from app dev backgrounds. And when we read that statistic, I think it really energizes and excites us at the opportunity that's in front of us. I think collectively through our careers, we could see that there's a better way to deliver more and faster. And I think Lcap really is the technology that unlocks that promise. So what is it about financial markets and Lcap? If we look across sectors, financial markets actually is the sector that has the greatest percentage spend of its revenues and budgets on IT. This doesn't surprise us and shouldn't surprise many of us and yourselves that have worked in the industry for a while. Technology is an enabler. It's a differentiator. It provides competitive advantage. Time to market is important, and there's a wide range of complex and sophisticated use cases. So technology is key. If we look at recent trends, or trends really over the last 10 years, and I guess many of us and many of yourselves have careers that have seen this, there's a phase of trends that go. I mean, 10 plus years ago, everyone was going to agile methodologies, and that was pushing out some of the waterfall-based project management methodologies and was very widely adopted. Then DevOps became a big thing. It was a really hot item that's been enthusiastically onboarded in a number of parts of our industry, and a number of big banks I know are huge buyers of DevOps. Cloud is still really in process. I mean, some places have really jumped in. Other big banks, I think, are still trying to figure it out and figure out how it fits in with their overall strategy. But cloud is still trending very strongly, and we see a lot of interest, a huge appetite, and a lot of column inches around Lcaps and NCAPs, no code. We'll come to that later, but a lot of interest in Lcaps now. So as per the Gartner prediction, we really see this as a trend for the future. So what is it about the Genesis Lcap that makes it different to other Lcaps? Well, frankly, it's specifically designed and architected for financial markets. And what do we mean by that? The platform of microservices in the Genesis Lcap are all designed and optimized for their functional or non-functional use cases in financial markets domain. So you have this understanding of different instrument types, instrument behavior, complex structures, derivatives, trade lifecycle events, orders, portfolios and hierarchies, valuations, risks, aggregations, calculations. All of those types of behaviors are things that the Genesis Lcap can speak, and more generic Lcaps don't necessarily have those coming out of the box. It still has user roles and permissioning, which are critical, especially with the world that we're in now, post-2008, audit, operational controls, and other non-functional things like resilience, failover, continuity type things, full transactional integrity, security, and scalability. So really the capabilities that the Genesis Lcap offers are very much built in mind and optimized for financial markets projects. The other thing that it offers is the ability to integrate with, and we have experience of integration, and the platform knows protocols like FIX and other industry standard interfaces and protocols, which accelerates integration both in terms of your in-house systems and to external market systems as well. As a very, very quick illustration of the benefits of Genesis low-code, a typical project versus a Genesis Lcap, we think there's about an 80% reduction in code required for a Genesis project against a standalone build. That's been borne out in practice from all of the projects that we've done. And as I mentioned before, less code means less bugs. Less code means an optimized solution on the desk of your users faster. And coming up next, there'll be a video that hopefully will add further illustration to the Genesis Lcap.
Our platform makes it possible to build resilient and scalable solutions in a fraction of the time for a fraction of the cost. We accelerate your time to market by 80%. You use a library of business components to snap together what you need, like Lego bricks. Instead of writing 100 lines of code, you write 4. The platform makes it easy to integrate and quick to deploy. It's a frictionless way to build an application, modify it, and use it many times. Genesis is the fastest way to get exactly what you need, giving your business the tools to adapt, innovate, and transform.
So, low code or no code? Just want to quickly cover this. So to be clear, Genesis is low code, not no code. There's still some coding, it's just less of it. No code is a little bit like the wizards you have in some of the, like Office apps and things like that. You don't have to type any code at all. Brilliant, but it's very restricts the number of things you can do with it. The analogy that I think of is it's like a car on a motorway or a freeway. You can get to your destination faster on a motorway or a freeway as long as the motorway or the freeway is going to where you want it to go. If that's your destination, great. But you're limited to the lanes of that motorway or freeway. If you want to go somewhere else, it's not really going to help you. I sort of think of Genesis, the ability to dive down into the code is invaluable because it means you can specifically tailor what gets built to the specifics of your use case, which means you have a highly optimized solution. And frankly, in financial markets, that's critical. So in the analogy of a car on a motorway, I kind of think of the Genesis Lcap as perhaps being more like a helicopter. Just before I finish, I'd like to go through a couple of use cases where the Genesis Lcap has proven really valuable in delivering solutions. The first category is new electronic platforms. It's a very broad group, but really it's about new systems. They can be front, middle, and back office. Could be for new products, new businesses, new processes, automation, risk management, operational efficiencies. They can be in-house, they could be startups, could be spin-offs. Maybe no vendor solution exists. Maybe there's the inevitable in-house resource constraints, business asking for more and budgets always getting cut. Genesis isn't staff augmentation, but the tools can turbocharge the delivery, so it could be staff acceleration, and obviously the expertise and delivery of Genesis itself can help with that process, and there's a number of delivery models we can use. Any situation where there's an imperative to deliver fast at modest cost, I think the Genesis Lcap is suitable, and frankly, in my experience, that's most of them. Another use case is adding capabilities to legacy systems. So you might have a legacy platform that's a vendor system, doesn't get changed much. Maybe it's very expensive to get changed. Maybe the vendor charges for change are very expensive. Genesis could provide the ability, and we've done it, where you can be adding user interface capabilities if you want a better user experience with more graphical interaction or more capabilities with pivots, etc., or aggregations. Integration on the side into other services within your organization or business processes, valuations, quant libraries. If you want to bolt in more complex products into a more vanilla legacy platform, but still keep all your books and records in the golden source. Or downstream with things like risk management, reporting, regulatory reporting, and generating those. Again, where things need to be done quickly, but perhaps you have a core platform that's fairly inflexible that maybe you only get to change twice a year. And finally, we found a really enthusiastic reaction in the end user computing, user-developed technology space. So, basically spreadsheets. I think we've all seen where spreadsheets are introduced as a temporary solution, and the business maybe has outgrown them, and now they can't scale to where the business has gone, or the operational risk or internal audit are concerned about the manual processes and operational risk of a basically uncontrolled spreadsheet without audit, without user permissioning, without control, without failover. There's a whole raft of reasons why end user computing issues come up, and what we've found is the Genesis Lcap and its speed to delivery has been very effective in mitigating those situations. In summary, you can think of Genesis Lcap as more, better, faster for less. So more delivery, deliver it better, deliver it faster, for less time, less money, less code, less bugs, less delivery risk, and less risk of missing that opportunity.
Ray. And now the download with Matt from ING. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about your role and why we're here today?
Sure. I'm a lending innovation lead at ING, and we've developed the credit insurance application with Genesis. Credit insurance is quite specialist, so let's have a look at a video.
Fantastic.
Obtaining credit risk insurance is a complex process in need of digitisation. Here's how it works currently. A bank originates a loan for a large client and selects to partially insure the loan. On a confidential basis, it talks to a broker or directly to a reinsurer to get quotes. Credit insurers review the loan and decide whether to offer the bank insurance for non-payment. The bank receives insurance on the portion of the loan and binds policies up to that amount on agreed terms. The bank and insurer continue to communicate on the performance of the loan. With such a complicated process, there are many ways for things to go wrong. Manual input of deals to the system can result in human error, and users may not have round-the-clock access to the system. This is why credit risk insurance is an area ripe for digital transformation. Digitizing the credit insurance marketplace and replacing existing Excel-based systems will lead to better business processes, improved systems architectures, enhanced user experiences, and rapid expansion, both in volume and geographically.
Matt, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for explaining the credit insurance space for our audience who's not familiar with that. From an engagement perspective and kind of, from how did the problem arise for ING? Can you give us a little bit of a flavor in terms of the size of the problem, the issue, and how did the engagement begin?
Well, the challenge is that the process for getting credit insurance isn't streamlined, and it never has been. It's a traditional broker model. We approach the market, and they take information from us about transactions, and they go. The brokers go to the market and find insurers who are willing to price or provide us insurance. That is all done now on a EUC basis with spreadsheets within our business. We have a global team. They're all using one spreadsheet currently, and we wanted to bring a new application, into development to improve the way that we conduct our credit insurance.
That's really good. Thank you for the explanation. And when you're talking about the EUC application, in a global context of a business, I'm sure there's multiple users. I'm sure there's a lot of requirements around compliance and traceability and all of that. It's about a lot of digitization of that process. Is that kind of where the EUC challenge came about, requiring some technology as opposed to the end user computing solution, which we see a lot of in the marketplace?
Yeah, well, this is an EUC project, but it's also a market project. And we are taking the idea of an application out to the market to sort of allow the market to benefit as well from CIA, from digitization. Like us, there are other banks with the same problem. We know that other banks are using spreadsheets and don't have an existing application. The credit insurance market is $300 billion, so it's a large use case, and we're on the way to improving it.
Fantastic. So what I'm getting from the conversation here is really, you're solving for an industry problem and not just one institution problem. I guess the bringing this EUC into the technology framework. If you don't mind, I'd like to explore a little bit of that angle as well. How does the technology framework play a role into this in terms of architecture, in terms of the technology debt? How do you choose a solution provider? Can you give us a little bit of a spiel on that?
Yeah, we've taken essentially an innovative approach within ING to this. We did not want to just design a solution for ING, and we've tried to use the discipline of innovation to think about the market problem. The interesting thing with the tech landscape is that EAC hasn't really been touched by technology teams in the past so much. Traders, front office, salespeople, they've all developed their own technology, their own tools within Excel or emailing models to each other. And we've analysed that. We've analysed the end-to-end journey, what our front office are doing. And we wanted to really assess the processes, understand the processes for that, and then create an application for that around some of those systems.
Yeah, absolutely. I can actually relate to that. Back in a previous life, when I was working in financial market as a trader, we used a lot of different spreadsheets, and it was really hard to control, because what we typically saw was those spreadsheets, the number of concurrent users would grow, and it become absolutely impossible to manage that. And I guess with the COVID environment and a lot of the stuff that has happened in recent times, I think there's an increased need for that technology framework to capture that. So that's fantastic. It's really forward-looking, solving for not just a single user need, but actually like a whole industry, 300 billion industry. So well done, Matt. It's fantastic. So Matt, just approaching the issue from a technology standpoint, I understand that there might be a lot of challenges around managing the IT real estate. What are some of the ways that you've approached this differently, and what does that mean for the end users and for ING?
Well, we've developed this differently. In the past, we might have looked at a sort of a buy or build choice and brought in a big team to do something like this. I think what's developed since then is we've now got the low-code solution. We've got agile way of working and the ability for the business to work with a company like Genesis. And that's allowed us to create a solution like CIA really quickly and properly. It's fit for purpose. And for a niche application, that can then go on the cloud. It's non-core, and that really opens up that opportunity and similar opportunities to do other similar applications.
That's fantastic. So what that means really essentially is that there's a whole possibility under low-code and cloud and digitalization and innovation really to actually access the application from anywhere in the world.
Yes, and that's exactly what we want to do. We were stuck with a spreadsheet that we had a global team using, and the application was the best solution that we could find. And we've managed to do more now than we were envisaging doing, and that's down to the flexibility of the platform and the scope to do more with it. So we've solved the problem of initially a spreadsheet and brought about a application that we can now use and has a lot of flexibility, and it has the potential for external connectivity or internal connectivity to our internal systems.
Fantastic, Matt. So if you don't mind, let's just keep moving on now, just to approach the issue from a business perspective. Can you take us through kind of what are some of the benefits of doing that? Because I understand from a spreadsheet perspective, a lot of things can go wrong. So, but from a usability, from the end user perspective, from the whole process, can you just give us an overview, what are the key benefits of having EUC using a low-code application platform?
So, corporate lending and structured finance lending is quite complex. It takes a lot of time, and we don't have a lot of good data. There's a lot of private data, and it's in a lot of documents. So we wanted to create an application that allows us to leverage that data better and allow us to serve our clients better and also to lower risk within the business.
Makes a lot of sense. So there's a clear benefit, I guess, from not just for the end users within ING, but also to the clients, the brokers, everyone else in the chain kind of operating in that framework. That makes perfect sense, Matt. And just moving on to the whole theme around, what are the implications of having the EUC framework now in a digital environment? Is that allowing the business to gain more customers? Is that going to unlock growth? What's the expectation of having this now digitalized? What does that mean?
Well, we didn't. If we didn't previously make a lot of recognition that we could improve our service by having much better data and making the salespeople more efficient. Plus, there is also a market opportunity here. So if everybody improved their end-user computing and their processing, then we would get a better speed within the market and execution of transactions. So we really wanted to bring about this opportunity. We want to encourage this transformation, and we really want to challenge the existing broker market and broker model for processing the insurance.
Fantastic. If I may pick just on one point, Matt, that you mentioned, I think was really interesting for the audience's purposes as well. I guess you mentioned something about capturing data, quality of data. So essentially, if you're able to capture data, have better quality data, and all of that, so there's a clear benefit in terms of pricing risk better, pricing risk more accurately, and with a clear benefit to everyone in the chain. Would that be fair? A fair assessment?
So we wanted to achieve a better reuse of data. We wanted to get rid of inefficiencies, and we were doing a lot of data remediation. So the application allows us to really get rid of that and improve on that. And that allows our teams to work better. It empowers our people, and it allows us to serve our clients better and to work with our clients faster.
Fantastic. And Matt, just one more question for you. Thank you so much for all the insights. I think it's really helpful to understand. And how did the whole process run for you, and are there other opportunities?
Yeah, the whole process ran really well. We were very pleased with the speed of development and what we have managed to achieve in less than 18 months, including onboarding. We've managed to go through end-user journey analysis, develop an MVP, get to a production release, and we've now got a real-life business example using the low-code application platform. There's loads more opportunities to do more with this. We can develop this application further. We want to connect externally, and we want to connect to internal systems. And then we want to look at opening this up to other business units. We have similar business units within the lending business. We want to go to larger data sets within financial markets. And the beauty is that this can be used throughout the bank in different functions.
That's fantastic. We're surely very excited about this opportunity and to work with you and with ING. And we look forward to the next opportunities to work together and help digitize and bring the low-code download into another opportunity. Thank you so much, Matt, for being here with us today.
We're looking forward to it too. Thank you very much.
Welcome back, everyone. And now for action, Darren Newby.
Hi, I'm Darren Newby, Solutions Director at Genesis Global, and today I have the pleasure of showcasing our credit insurance application. Genesis CIA is a credit insurance CPRI workflow application. It's been developed for the bank users of insurance covers, supporting the full life cycle of a CPRI request, all the way from request capture, quote request, cover allocation, policy approval, all the way through to binding and ultimately portfolio management. Typically, banks are using existing Excel applications, manual workflows, emails and Word documents, and they have 5 main business drivers for change. The first driver is all around compliance. It's around risk mitigation, more audits, more controls within the process. The second driver is all around efficiency. Reduced manual entry, reduced double entry, improved data quality, and also more visibility of the workflow process. The third driver is about MIS. It's all about reporting, getting better data back out of my workflow that I can use within my management reporting package. The fourth driver is predominantly global access, and this is reducing the dependency on a single user. I want to enable multiple users across multiple territories and multiple desks to view the same data and manage the same workflow. The last business driver is quite simply is integration. CPRI is often a standalone function within the bank, and our clients seek the ability to integrate that workflow into other internal applications, external software packages, or even with other market participants. Before we move on to the demo, let's just spend a few minutes talking about how the solution was actually built. Like all of our engagements, then this solution was built using the Genesis low-code application platform, which means we can leverage groups of microservices and business components to accelerate our development and our delivery. The first group of services we used in this build was the data model, understanding what that data schema is going to look like and how it's going to reside within the product. The second group is integration. So we had to integrate with the bank systems using APIs to collect data to bring into our databases. The third component of the build was using a group of microservices around transaction flow and event management. The fourth step, focusing on data analytics, how we consolidate data, how we package it together, and how we lay reporting and visibility on top of that data. The fifth component is data distribution, effectively getting data back out of the solution. Here we're using PDF generation, and we're also providing export files. And then finally, we're bringing all these components together within a user interface, and this is a web framework built using our Creative Studio. And now for the demo. When we first log into the application, we are greeted by our dashboard, which is our work in progress, and we also have a menu screen on the left-hand side of the application. It's the menu screen that's driving our navigation throughout the application. The menu screen is also permissioned, so different users will see different functionality, different modules, and be able to perform different tasks dependent on a very granular set of user permissions, which is absolutely key to the compliance business driver and auditability of the system. Before we go into depth and look at the workflow, the first thing we need to do is to manage our reference data and underlying data that actually powers that workflow. So within this application, we have two main counterparty databases. Firstly, we have an Insurer Database. That Insurer Database is made up of different insurer types. I can go in and modify an insurer. Those insurer types are subsidiaries, parents, branch, and consortium, and it's that grouping of insurers that allows us to manage groups of insurance limits further on in the process. We also store additional information within that profile screen. Also within the insurer database, we store insurer limits based on their tenor bucket. Typically, there are four different buckets: 0 to 3 years, 3 to 5 years, 5 to 9 years, 9 to 15 years. We have the available limit at the beginning of the process, how much limit's being used throughout the process, and by subtracting one from the other, we can magically calculate the available headroom for the next request. The other database we have in the system is our borrower database. The borrower database, again, is a profile-based system. We can go into each borrower. We could add profile information to identify that borrower, and we can also add external rating information like Moody's, Fitch, and also S&P. The third part of our data management, before we look into our workflow, is we allow our clients to manage their own pick lists. So to maintain quality of data, which is absolutely critical for the reporting and analytics driver, that data needs to be consistent throughout the workflow. So we provide our clients a series of pick lists so they can manage that data that's going to power every piece of data entry throughout the workflow. It also allows them to manage FX rates. FX rates are absolutely key to the application because we are managing multiple base currencies. Every deal is captured in a local currency, but we also convert all of the key economics firstly into euros so we can manage our limits, and we also convert all of those key financials into US dollars, which is the currency we're using for managing our portfolio exposure. Now we can move on to the workflow. So if we go back to our home screen, our dashboard, what we're seeing on our dashboard is our work in progress, often referred to as a WIP, work in progress. What we're seeing on this screen is all of our outstanding requests by state, and they're presented in vertical swim lanes. Each one of those swim lanes represents a state of the workflow. I can view my own deals, or I can also view my team, all of the deals belonging to my team. There's some basic analytics on this homepage where I can see the breakdown of those requests by their states, and I also have some graphical representation of the requests that I've sent to specific brokers, so I can make sure my distribution is even throughout the process. So now we can go on and look at a request itself. So let's look at an example of one I loaded earlier. So here, rather than entering data straight into an Excel spreadsheet type format, we've tried to create what we call a deal wizard. The deal wizard is almost like an airline booking system, where we're walking people number steps of a process where we're adding data at different stages. At step one, we're capturing the information of the stakeholders of the request. Where did the request come from? What deal desk? What location? What sector? The second step of the workflow process is the capturing of the deal information or the loan that actually requires insurance. So here we're storing all of the key fundamentals of the deal. What currency is it in? How big is the loan? How much of the deal is going to be held by the bank? Who are the borrowers? Who are the obligators? Who are the parents? What is the categorization of the risk of the loan? Standard loan information. This also showcases our ability to manage data models, another microservices component within our framework. We have a parent record of the deal, and then we have multiple tranches that relate back to that deal. Once we've got our underlying deal information, we then need to decide how much insurance do I want. So we move on to number 3, which is our cover requirements. And quite simply here, we're entering minimum net retention and also the insurance cover required. At this stage, we're ready to take a cut of this information and provide it to the external market, back to the broker. So here we generate a NBI request, a non-binding indication, which is done in a PDF format. So from this summary, I can produce my NBI, and that NBI is then sent manually to the broker community. The brokers then come back with my insurance quotes. And within my allocation screen here, I'm storing all the quotes coming back from individual insurers against individual tranches. And within this screen, I can decide how much of each offer I wish to accept and at what premium. And then the total value of that cover is expressed in the bottom bar of this screen. Target cover required, amount filled, and then percentage of that amount filled. We're now then ready to move on to bind those policies. So this is our policy screen. So we have multiple allocations are linked back to a single policy document. And for each policy, we store all of the standard data and referential information a user needs to map their policy history. Another key bit of functionality here is a checklist. We mentioned one of the drivers was compliance and auditability. Here we have a set of user-defined checklists or approvals or hoops that a user needs to jump through before they can eventually bind a policy back in the insurance market. Final piece to show you on the workflow. We have a document library, a document manager, so you can also drag and drop and you can store underlying documents that actually refer to the request. Rather than saving them in a local repository or file explorer, you can store them within the application itself. So we've done the reference data, we've done the workflow, and now we need to really focus on how we're going to get the information back out the system, which we do in 3 ways. We provide access directly into the database itself. For example, here you can look at my deals database. So within here, I see 3 levels of records. I see my deals, my tranches, and the allocations relating to the tranches and the deals. We also show every single field in that database that can be viewed within these blotters. Not super sexy, but there's a lot of power in that data, which can be used in other downstream systems. The second way of retrieving data is through a reporting function. This is a query generator, and here a user can build and save a predefined query. Here's a quick example of one here. On the left-hand side, I've selected a table. I've selected the fields that I require from that table. I can then create my own filters to drill down and to look at what I want to include or exclude from that extract, and then I can actually run an export and push that to a system. Finally, but not least, is our analytics functionality. So this is where the application really comes to life. So now we have a set of charting screens around themes. You'll notice on top of my screen, I have 5 tabs. My deals pipeline, which is analytics around work in progress, my WIP. I have some analytics around bound deals. I have analytics around my portfolio and policies, and I have analytics around my revenues and my limits. Just taking the first example on the deal screen, all of these charts are interactive. So a user can work with these charts by changing the groupings from broker to principal, for example, and I can also change from the legend and drill down onto a subset of data. So in this example, I can look at just active deals, or I can look at inactive deals. On the right-hand side of this screen, you can start to see some time series data going back over a period of time. I won't go through all of the analytics, but just the last one to show is on the limits. So looking on insurance limits, we can see all of our individual insurers, and we can see the usage by tenor, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, up to 10 years. And we can also got graphics and analytics around the headroom usage. So that is a very quick demo, but that is a walkthrough through our credit insurance application.
Now it's time for our Q&A. Thanks, Darren. And please do get in touch if you'd like a demo of CIA or a chat with Darren and the team. So now I'd like to invite Jean-Maurice and Stephen to join me in a live Q&A. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Jean-Maurice.
Hi, Felipe.
Hey, Felipe.
So I'd like to take the first question here that came through to Jean-Maurice. Jean-Maurice, the audience has asked, what does CIA mean from a business and tech perspective, and what are the benefits for your firm and the broader market? Can you just expand on that?
Sure, Felipe, and hi, everyone. Well, basically, first for ING, I think it's going to change the life of our portfolio manager. Rather than exchange bits of Excel around the world, our Asian and US colleagues will be able to input their own data, and indeed the whole team in Europe. So that's going to be that's what we were looking for. The second bit is reporting, which will be at the click of a button on a just-in-time basis, exactly what we needed, including the all-important secondary limit monitoring. So I think for ING, it's quite simply the best system for one simple reason, because we co-created it with Genesis. So I think then you've asked me for the broader market. At ING, we believe in open banking and in platforms. So it came naturally to us to want to share what's useful to us with our peers. And that's what we're doing. And already there are ongoing discussions with various banks. And then, as other users join, we can make the product evolve, and other people's pain points are not our pain points, and that way we benefit as well, and the co-creation continues. So it's really good.
Fantastic. And you have the flexibility with the Genesis low-code application platform. So excellent news. So Jean-Maurice, I have another question I'd like to ping to you that came through the audience here. And the question is ING disrupting the credit insurance delivery chain by taking on functions previously performed by others, in example, brokers? Okay, well, I can see some fear creeping into that question. I think, it's a classic fear whenever there's new technology coming into a market. No is the answer. I think it's a productivity tool for us. It can be a massive productivity tool for the brokers. We're not trying to disenfranchise the brokers. The brokers have a big role to play in placing difficult risks to insurers for us, and they can do that even better with technology. First we were trying to solve our problem as a bank user of insurance, but clearly, it's a first step towards a digital marketplace, and that's our vision. I think it's a vision that can be shared by all market participants, insurers and brokers, where more structured data is exchanged in a two-way scenario, and we benefit by exploiting those synergies and not rekeying 6 times the same transaction details. So I think, we'll work with our brokers. We'll continue to work with our brokers, and this is a market solution, though. Thank you very much, Jean-Maurice. The whole digitization in a 300 billion marketplace makes a lot of sense. So thank you for your answer. Stephen, I'm going to pick on you a little bit now. There's a question that came through here, and it's not about football, it's not about Liverpool. So apologies if anyone is not a Liverpool fan here on the call. But it's about the Genesis platform. We've seen it's far-reaching, and as we can see from this syndicate loan use case for CIA. What are some of the other areas of opportunities within financial markets that you see the platform addressing industry issues for?
Thanks, Felipe. I'll answer that in 2 ways, actually. I think there's what we've proven with the platform, whether or not it's through to from market infrastructure like clearinghouses, all the way through to treasury desks, syndicated loan desks, wealth management, hedge funds, asset management firms. that our low-code application platform is applicable to all of these use cases. But I think when we talk about that, we add another dimension to that. Every one of those parts of the industry has a BPM type problem, a business process management problem, let's say, or opportunity. Everyone has a spreadsheet replacement type opportunity. We think of those as really simple use cases. When we built the platform from the ground up over 8 years ago now, we built it for very complex use cases as well. So I think when we think about it, it's really two-dimensional. It's across all of financial markets, but it's also core systems. It's also complex event processing. It's also things which are about very much about the security, authentication, visibility of data, but like FX trading, low latency messaging. So I think to answer that question, I would look at it in two dimensions. I would say it's across all market participants of financial markets, asset management firms through to clearinghouse, through to hedge funds, wealth management, treasury desks, across capital markets as well. But across all of those different use cases, if you have a core platform like CIA now will become a core part of a market, and actually, if anything, a digital marketplace, all the way through to, hey, I've got some BPM things I want to get done, all the way through to, I'm a market maker, I need real-time TC analytics. You can do all of those use cases on the platform. So that I think that's when we talk about far-reaching, it's across all of the market participants, as well as across all of that, the second dimension of potential complex, low latency, high performance through to not latency sensitive, but maybe a very complex trade structure, or in CIA, for instance, tranches with a syndicated loan, which have been then combined with document management associated to that, with varying permissions and visibility over that data through the workflow within a bank like ING, or brokers that are involved in that. So it's end to end across the whole industry and complexity of use cases.
Excellent. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for the excellent insights, and I look forward as well to working with the continued partnership with you, Jean-Maurice, and ING as well. Well, that's it for the launch show of the Genesis Expo. I hope you have enjoyed it. We have created a fact sheet and a comprehensive white paper on end-user computing with low code to accompany this show, so please do get in touch. Our next show is on August 26th with a special on asset managers and brokers and outsourced trading desks with Beaton. Please register in the link below. Just leaves me to thank Stephen, Ray, Darren, and our special guests, Matthew Rees-Evans and Jean-Maurice Elkoby from ING. Thank you to everyone for joining us live. The on-demand shows are available online now. And I look forward to welcome you to the next Expo on August 26th. Bookmark the last Wednesday of the month to keep abreast of the Genesis low-code application platform, the only Lcap built by and for financial markets. Genesis, code less, do more.